Hey everybody, this is Jay Young here with the Jay Young Show. NAPE, we're at NAPE 2024, and I've got some great guests coming up here on the show. And first of all, Mr. Steve Reese. Steve, tell us something about yourself. Welcome to the Jay Young Show.
Thanks, Jay. Appreciate it. Nice to see you again after
Yeah.
many years.
We did business.
Yeah, I've been
20 years
back
ago,
when
or-
we had hair and it was brown.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. But very fortunate. I'm celebrating my 43rd year in the energy business and my 30th year as an entrepreneur with Reese Energy Consulting and Training. And we're just excited to be here. Our business has really grown over the last 10 or 15 years. Help a lot of small operators all the way up to the Chesapeakes and Southwestern who we're helping with various projects.
What
And
do y'all do specifically?
a lot of what we do evolve around oil and gas commercial contracts, whether it's and natural gas liquids. Whether
if I have a well that I produce and I've got gas, I'm testing 300, 400 MCF a day or 1 million, 2 million. I come to you and go, hey, Steve, I got this gas. I don't have a market for it, but there's a pipeline right here.
No.
And I'm going to come to you and go, hey, can you sell my gas for me for the best price?
Absolutely. We jump on your side of the table. We market your product for you on your behalf. Also what we do a lot are we audit your purchasers. Once you've begin producing, whether it's liquids or gas, we go in and audit not only the contracts we've negotiated and the accounting therewith, but also their facilities, their measurement, their sampling, their processes, whether they're compliant with government regulations, the American Gas Association. So it's kind of in our niche, and what's fed my family for 30 years are entities like King, small to mid-sized independent producers. They've kept us alive.
So you're not only making sure that I have a market for my gas once I'm producing, or if I buy a lot of production, I come to you and go, hey, I've got 3 million a day out of this field, and you can make sure that you're going to go to the people necessary that have the rights to buy the gas, and you're going to not only hook it up, but you're also going to, do you check it on a monthly basis?
We have a various menu of services.
I want you to make sure that I'm getting paid the right amount.
We want to make sure you're getting paid right. Sometimes we'll do it on a monthly basis. That's a more informal. Sometimes we'll trigger the formal audit clauses in the oil and gas contracts.
Oh, wow.
Where you go back and look at 2 years. We've recovered for producers in the last 5 years over $20 million in overcharged fees, fuel, mismeasured stuff in the field.
Yeah.
Things of that nature.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you check up on all that, because that's important. Because I mean, I'm not out there every day, and
right.
There could be gas that's going down the line and not going down or being sold, not sold. I mean, there's just so many different things that can happen, but you're right on top of it, and you're making sure that not only me or the small operator or the whatever operator is getting paid for the gas that they're producing.
Yeah, and I mean, we've my small group, there's only about 12 of us. We've got over 250 years of experience, both on the commercial side and on the operational side. Okay. So we've got a good mix between both the physical stuff and the contract negotiations. Yeah.
That's great. That's good to know that there is a business out there that can help companies like ours, because like I said, we produce a lot of oil and gas every day, but man, we don't know where it's going and if we're getting paid and we're getting paid the right price. Because I'm sure there's there could be some companies that maybe not intentionally, but they may not pay you the right price.
Unintentionally and intentionally, yes.
To go there, but if you want to go there, all right, yeah.
I've seen it all, my friend.
I bet you have seen a lot.
I've seen it all, and there are some worse than others. And yes, I mean, I don't think there's anybody trying to be egregious at any point. Yeah. But there are ones that will take advantage when they can.
Yeah.
And especially in the field, what we've seen in the field side of gas measurement and gas sampling are the guys our age with experience are gone.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of younger people that are engaged and trained correctly to handle those situations.
Yeah. But once they see that they're dealing with you and you follow it on a daily basis, and you know how much gas is being picked up, what's the gas prices, I mean, the whole spectrum. I'm sure they're really more cautious, I guess, than
Well,
moving their price or
right.
yeah,
That's a good catch. A lot of times, we will find things that we'll go to a client like you and say, we didn't find any quarters under the couch, but I can promise you going into the future, there's not going to be any under there because they're going to want, and a lot of times what's ironic is some of these pipeline and midstream companies, after we audit them, they'll hire us to come help them to get
Right.
into compliance and things. So, we're the kind of, old school guys, and we like to do things the right way.
yeah.
And we think everybody should.
No, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great. How'd you get in that business?
I went to OU Boomer Center, everybody.
OU.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah, went to OU, and I went to work in 1980 in a field office for Getty Oil Company in Pampa, Texas,
Wow.
and began to do well testing, gauge tanks. I was very fortunate in that I was able to learn the business from the ground up. So I can talk turkey to guys like you that are operators, because I've gauged tanks, I've changed gas charts, I've run fluid levels, I've worked on compressors,
Walked
and
walked up the stairs on those
walked up
tanks
the
and
stairs. And in
met Mason Dyer.
1985, yeah, and in 1985, when Texaco bought Getty, I was transferred to Tulsa and began working with gas contracts.
Wow.
And after about 9 years of that star logo on my hindquarters, I was ready to jump out and do my own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
What do you see the biggest change in the industry next 3-5 years? What do you think the biggest change is going to be?
I think one of the biggest changes are there's a lot more focus, obviously, on things like flaring, things like inefficiencies, which I agree with. I don't agree with replacing natural gas with any of these alternative fuels, except maybe in certain circumstances.
Yeah.
But I think it's helped drive our business as we go in the field and on paper and look for lost gas, and gas that's flared and lost and mismeasured isn't good for anyone.
Wow.
So we're seeing a focus of that, and it's helped drive our business as well.
So do you see a lot of future in this Bitcoin mining I've heard about? I mean, I've had like 3 people in the last 24 hours. What's up, man? Hey, good. Did you see that many more people going into the Bitcoin where people, instead of, and I'm assuming this, but they take the gas line off and they put it into some type of a generator that will generate enough electricity to mine Bitcoins. And I'm lost after that, but
Oh.
is that a big, are you worried about that?
Well, so
Are you excited about that or worried about that?
I'm not excited about it. I don't know that I'm worried. Here's what's happened. We've been approached 24 times with Bitcoin miners saying, we want your little black book. Basically, we'd like
Yeah.
to talk to your clients
Sure.
that have gas in low price areas, could be stranded. And sure, the problem is, every time I've asked them for an economic model, they really can't produce it. It's like, well, what's your OpEx? What's your capital cost? What's the price of supply for your gas? There is, I think, a space for it. Some guys with these smaller wells, we've seen some in the mid-continent that have a lot of CO2, a lot of nitrogen. They're having a hard moving the gas.
Yeah.
They're using it to mine Bitcoin. And I'm actually on the board of a newer company now that's doing that. I don't really dismiss it totally, but there's a lot of fluff out there.
Huh.
And I really had to swim through a lot of fish to find one that was worth eating and filleting,
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's going to change the industry per se.
Is it really, I mean, what percentage of the gas do you think is going through Bitcoin mines right now?
Less than 1/100th of 1%. One guy called me all excited. He actually zoomed me in on a project down in South Texas and said, look, we're mining Bitcoin. I said, what's your gas flow? He goes, 100 MCF a day. And I was like, how are you making any money?
Yeah.
I mean, really? You're excited about 100 MCF a day?
I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't, and I mean, we have a project in Colorado and I looked at it, but we're not producing enough MCF a day to do it. But
No.
then I also think about this guy called yesterday and I was like, hey, find out how much we're flaring
Right.
and then find out how much they need and how much money will they give us. And I haven't heard I don't know. I mean,
So what I've seen in a lot of those instances if it's totally stranded gas, a lot of times they try to negotiate to basically get the gas for free.
Yeah.
And then maybe pay to lease a site.
Yeah.
But those machine footprints are pretty sizable.
Yeah.
Take up a lot of power from the grid. And I know in Texas, there's some issue with what they're using off the grid and what it's doing to further destabilize the grid in Texas.
right.
I don't know if it's a fad. I think you'll see that business shrink down to the guys that are actually making a living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, it's something that I know that there was a couple of engineers from A&M that started it and thought it was
Yeah.
a great deal. And I haven't heard of anybody that's really made money on both sides of it yet. So
Yeah.
I don't know that. May be the next best thing. I don't know. I know one thing. I've wasted too much time on it.
Oh, I absolutely have, and I finally
I
got
know
to,
you have.
I finally got to the point that I've told my people, I'll say, these guys are calling, vet them, and the conversation's 5 minutes. We say, send us your Excel spreadsheet economics. I'll sign an NDA, and where did they go?
Yeah.
So.
I know. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, hey, is there anything else that you want to talk about? What are you looking forward to, Nate? What's the biggest thing?
It's really neat to connect with a lot of people. A lot of people know about my health journey the last 2 years, surviving some pretty massive cancer, major heart
Oh,
problems.
congratulations. Congratulations.
I've been to Mayo Clinic about 10 times, and today I feel better than I have in 2 years.
Wow.
And
Good for you.
had a kidney removed.
Man, you look good.
The Lord has just kept me here for a reason, and I'm all for that. And so we're very thankful.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It is. Thank you, sir.
So glad you're here and glad you're here physically and mentally.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that glad everything's going well. And
Thanks.
man, prayers have been there. So.
Absolutely, Jay. Thank you, sir. Nice
Absolutely.
to see you. Appreciate it.
Good to see you too. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll conclude this part of the Jay Young Show. We'll go to our next guest.